Well, hey guys, it's Thorzax here, and I wanted to put out a video for you guys, you know, because I haven't been able to get out to the range. Uh, with my sinuses the way they are, and having a sinus headache, I can't concentrate on the front side. So I wanted to go ahead and just make a video anyway and get it uploaded and share another aspect of what I've been doing to keep myself busy. So anyway, this video is going to have a little bit of a story to it. I don't know. It was about 25 years ago. We had this gun shop down in Paulsbo. It was Fox's gun shop, and old Don Fox. He was a great old guy. I mean, he was a little hair over 5 feet tall. Couldn't weigh more than 130 pounds. Had a big old handlebar mustache, and he always wore this, hat, and he's just, he always wore a little Western vest type, deal there with his cowboy boots. And but old Don, I mean, if he knew you, he'd make you a deal on things. So he was a great guy. His business though, he kind of got into this thing where he wanted to make custom gun stocks and stuff like that. There really wasn't a big market in that stuff. So anyway, before I go spilling off into yesteryear, the very first lubricizer that I ever bought was a Lyman 45. And it was in Fox's gun shop. He had a little display case with a lot of used casting equipment and reloading dies and things like that in there. And I had my eye on this lubricizer. So I went in there. It was payday, and I went in there and talked to Don about it. He got it out of the case for me. I looked at all the parts were there, and it was in really good shape. It really was. It was in excellent shape. So it came with a couple of sizing dies. I think it came with a 45 and a 38 caliber sizing die in the top punches and a few little odds and ends in the box. So anyway, I was closing the deal, and I went ahead and told him, here you go, blah blah blah. Thanks a lot, and he threw in a stick of lubricant with it. The old NRA formula soft lube, and because those lubricizers were just strictly for soft lube. You couldn't use a heated lube in there because it wasn't really a sealed deal. The pressure is, the pressure system that was in it. So anyway, to move out smartly on this, Don said, "Do you have a good 38 caliber mold?" And I told him, I said, "Well, I got a 2-cavity Lee. It's 158 grain, semi-watt cutter." Well, he reaches down in the case and he puts this thing. He puts this thing up on top of the box, and he says, "I'm throwing this in. You can go ahead and have this. Nobody wants this thing. This has been sitting in there forever." And what it is that this is an old tong tool that somebody has welded, and they cut the tong tool part off. Maybe this was for like 38 New Police or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea what the history is on this. But the bullet mold that was in the tong tool this was made by the Ideal Manufacturing Company before Lyman. And it's the 358311, and that's it right there. Now you can see through the years some guy tried to ventilate the nose on it, and that sort of thing. So you kind of got to break that little. You got to break that little run thing. You got to break that off with your fingernail. When you go to size them. But this bullet, believe it or not, that bullet is extremely accurate. I mean, extremely accurate. Probably one of the most accurate 38 bullets I've got. So anyway, I'll go ahead and show you the loaded round, show you what it looks like. It's your classic, this is your classic 38 caliber round nose, 158 grain. If the 1950s, if you were going to go down to the hardware store and buy some Remington, 38 special rounds, 158 grain, this is exactly what they'd look like. So anyway, okay, to keep moving on. What I did is I went ahead and I picked up a 4-cavity mold in the same bullet. This is still manufactured. This is manufactured by Lyman. The only difference between the two is that the Lyman has more of an oval grease groove cut in it, and the one from the tong tool has a square cut. That's about the only difference. I'll tell you what, making this bullet one at a time is trying. Definitely not one for production, and this bullet would work out really good for anybody who's into shooting steel or any type of the IPSC challenges, stuff like that, where you don't really need a semi-wad cutter. You can get by with a round nose, because the round nose does it punches a hole, but it's kind of raggedy. It's not as clean and as a semi-wad cutter or a full wad cutter for that matter. So anyway, so what I did to keep myself busy, so I went ahead and I cast it up some. There you go. That represents about 1,100. There you go, right there. I can make as many as I want of these, and they're a very well made set of molds. They work great. This right here is just plain old range scrap. I didn't add any tin or anything to it. I just went ahead and just casted them up. I let these sit around for about 3 weeks before I actually load them, to a month. And that way the lead will harden up in them, the alloy and all that, and they get harder with age. However, shooting at 38 special loads like 3.5 grains of bullseye or 4.5 grains of unique, these or 4.0 of unique, around there, that sort of thing. As long as you stay in that speed or pressure, you're not going to get any leading. Another thing too, I went ahead and I did the floor wax treatment to these, so they have a very light coating of floor wax on them. One thing I found out about the floor wax, it takes some experimentation. The one thing that you want to do with the floor wax is you only want to use a very small amount, maybe 2 capfuls for every 500 rounds, and you just toss them around and you get them nice and coated and you put them out on the plastic. If you put too much on them, what will happen is that it'll run down the sides, and then it'll stick to the plastic and it'll form a little pool underneath there. So when you take them up off the plastic, there'll be a little flat spot there of wax, and you don't want that. So but it has just enough wax on there to ease the bullet to go through the cylinder throat and into the forcing cone, and that cuts back an awful lot on your leading. Institutional floor wax takes about 3-4 hours to really harden up and dry. 24-hour cure time actually is recommended for it. But it does. It leaves a hard, waxy film on there, and it won't attract dirt. It's great. So this is a really good way of turning out some bullets that you can make in bulk. You can take, you and your friends or your family or whatever. You can go out to the range. You got a couple of 38 specials. You want to go ahead and just, shoot pop cans, or you want to shoot targets, or you want to shoot clay pigeons up there in the dirt or whatever. You just want to have a good time with your revolvers. This is a good bullet to use for that. I wouldn't recommend it for hunting. It was the only thing I had. Yeah, I'd make sure that my shot placement was right. But for varmint hunting and small game hunting like raccoons and that sort of thing, you can load this up and shoot it in a carbine. You know, if you got a big boy, and 38 special or 357 mag, you can go ahead and load this stuff up and shoot it in a carbine. It'll work just fine. For that, dispatching little critters and that sort of thing. So anyway, it's been hell, guys. I mean, sinuses are nothing to mess around with, and I've pretty much gotten over most of the chest thing. But man, I'll tell you what, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll have a splitting headache, and I'll down some aspirin, and it'll get a little bit better, but just the pressure behind my eyes, it just kills me. So anyway, when I'm starting to feel better, when I'm starting to feel normal again, like I'm a human being, I'll be out at the range. I do owe you guys some range time, and I want to go ahead and do the whole wad cutter comparison. I'm going to load some of these up, take these out, and shoot some of those. I got the K31. I'm going to go ahead and run through that. I got a couple of product reviews that I'm going to go ahead and do. So, things are rolling along here. So, anyway, this is Thor's Axe, and I'm signing out, and you guys have a good day.